practice. I'm going to call it like an adaptability practice. And so we're going to do a lot of different shapes and move through them in different ways to really just kind of practice what life is asking us to do every day and every week, it seems, which is to continue to be very adaptable to all the things that continue to change, right? And as yogis, we get really good at adapting, right? Movement, we go from fast to slow, we go from intense to easy, we go from stretching a muscle to strengthening a muscle, right? We practice all those adaptability skills on the mat. And so these are the reasons we do these things, right? Is so when all of a sudden we have a 2-week freeze or we have something show up again, that we know how to adapt ourselves. So let's work with that today. Take a deep breath, settle yourself in, and grab a spray of choice and give yourself some love, essentially. So take a moment to close your eyes and breathe that in. Then just take a moment to let yourself feel into your Monday afternoon as to what has happened in your day so far. Kind of feeling into how much energy you have, what your mind's like, what your emotions like, what is your body feeling. Just really slowing it down so you can discern and allow yourself to feel and connect to yourself. So nice deep breaths, letting your shoulders settle, sitting up nice and tall, allowing yourself to feel the stability of even just starting your practice the same as we always do. We start with breath, we start with awareness. We find our seat. And then take a moment just to feel all the ways in which you've been adapting to the changes in your own life. Maybe some of them have been easy to adapt to, and maybe some of them have called upon kind of that steadiness, right? It's that same kind of tapas that kind of brings us to the mat every week. And it's the things it's those commitments to the things that we know matter, even when they're hard. So kind of noticing where you've had to employ some of that for your adaptability. And then noticing where it's been challenging to be adaptable in your life. Like where has it been hard to make changes or to lose certain things or have to change certain things that you really liked and enjoyed, and where maybe you were asked to be in a more surrender. And so we'll dance with both of those wings of the practice today, the adaptability to be able to be steady when we need to and commit and to stay focused and aware, and then also that ability to let go. So rub your hands together. Form your intention. So bowing towards your hands as you form an intention. It can be a place that you want to feel more adaptable in your life, or maybe it's something that you want to surrender, or maybe it's something that you want to offer through your practice. Maybe it's someone that you know that's struggling or having a hard time, and someone that you just want to offer your energy towards. Take a deep breath into that intention. On the exhale, send it out. Then release your hands. And we're going to inhale, lift the shoulders up. Exhale, let them drop. And I'm exhaling through my mouth, and you can exhale through your nose or your mouth, but just feel those shoulders drop. Like weight shifting out of the neck, out of the head, out of the jaw. Three more. And take a deep breath and lift your shoulders up. Feel them lift, 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 and then exhale, press them down and away. And then I'm gonna stay on my block, but if you need to come off your block, you can. We're gonna inhale, let the chest press forward, shoulders back. Exhale, round back. So round your upper back and let your pelvis tuck under. Inhale, pubic bone rolls forward. Exhale. So it's like cat-cow, but we're just in a cross-legged. You can also kneel if this is uncomfortable, or you can come to hands and knees. So inhale, shoulders back. Exhale, shoulders forward. And really use your breath here. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Do 3 more. And then inhale, the arms come up. Just elongate through the spine. And then exhale, bring your hands to meet at your heart. Nice. And then we're going to come to all fours. So I'll move my blocks. And then take a long spine just to neutralize everything. So turn your hands to face out. And then take an active child's pose as you press your hands forward, kind of getting into the feet a little bit here. Drop your head. Kind of feel those feet stretch to whatever degree you can. And then come forward to all fours. And then you can keep your feet tucked under or untucked. Walk your hands forward. You can tense your palms or flatten them. And as your hips move back, feel a stretch of your lumbar. So instead of letting the belly hang in the chest, we're going to lift those 2 parts up so we kind of stay more like a plank. And then roll the outer border of your shoulder and arms down towards the floor so that you get more broadness across the back of the heart. Neck is long. And then again, keep reaching the hands forward out of the hips, but keep reaching the hips back. So there's this long traction in here. Take a few more deep breaths. And then come back up to all fours, and then take your knees out. And this time, come on back towards a child's pose, but this time we'll flip the palms to face up. You can grab opposite wrists. And just kind of allow your hips to open a bit more with this one. And let your upper back round, so you don't have to do anything to stretch here. You can just kind of let that softening happen. Feel your fronts of your thighs soften back. And then 1 or 2 more deep breaths. And then slowly come up. And then to downward facing dog when you're ready. So first time in down dog pedal, or do all those fun things that you like to do to allow you to kind of set this pose and feel into the legs for the first time. Let that head get nice and heavy. So maybe you're rocking or swaying, or maybe it feels good just to be still and feel the heels melt. Now lift up high on the toes. And again, once again, feel the feet stretch. And then drop your heels to the left as you lower your heels to the floor. And so now we'll get a nice big side stretch on the right. So as your right hip point reaches up, press your right palm down. Try and get as much of a stretch to that side body as you can. Lift the heels up high, drop your heels to the right, and now it's the left side of your body that gets a nice stretch. So move the left outer hip away from the left palm. And do it one more time. Heels up, drop to the left. Heels up, drop to the right. And then as you're ready, come back to downward dog and nice slow walk towards the front of the mat. And then when you get there, we'll come to a halfway lift. And then we'll forward fold. We'll do that 3 more times. A halfway lift, so you might come up high, broaden through your chest and shoulders. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And this time exhale, fold, and just relax. So if you want to grab behind your neck and traction your head, a little heavier. Maybe you grab your arms to feel the weight of your spine, kind of allowing the low back to release. Do that. You can be as far apart as you'd like with your legs. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to get some heat built as we kind of start to warm up through the legs. But of course, if that doesn't feel good for your feet or knees or ankles, I'm going to give you another choice. So you might want to have 2 blocks handy in case the more active version isn't feeling good. But I want to give you this option because sometimes like getting a little heat moving through your body can bring some warmth and kind of softening and kind of helps us dissipate some of that kind of stressful energy. So as you're ready, halfway lift one more time, then hands to the waist and come all the way up to standing. And just take a moment here. And roll those shoulders. And then roll in the other way. And then shake your arms out. We'll get those arms kind of mobilized in a little bit. So have your blocks handy at the front of your mat if you need. Again, I'll show you the add-ons or the takeaways so that you can make sure this is going to work for you, okay? As you inhale, the arms will come up and sweep. And as you exhale, your arms can press out and away. You can trace the back of your thighs, come all the way down. Halfway lift, inhale. And on your exhale, step your right leg back. And so here's option 1. Option 1 is I'm going to bend the knee and then I'm going to lift. So I'm going to cat my back and I'm going to bend the knee and I'm going to lift. And I'm lifting both my heels. And so I'm getting a lot of levity and I want to kind of pump the belly as I do this. Option 2, hop switch. So I can do this and I'm doing the same work. I'm just using my hands and using my core. So otherwise, you're going to stay with the right leg back and you're just lifting and lowering for about, maybe like 5 more seconds. 3, 2, and then last time, bring that right knee down, lift up, Anjaneyasana. So that low lunge, hips come forward, arms lift up, inhale. And then exhale, draw the arms back. So feel that stretch across your chest. Arms are going to reach up. And then exhale, you're going to take your hips back. And you can take your blocks back with you if you like. Flex your left toes. Feel a hip hinge and a hamstring stretch. Okay, come back forward, low lunge. And then low lunge becomes plank. And in your plank pose, if you need your knees down, please do breath of fire. So that's that pumping of the belly, forceful exhales. And we're not going to do very long, but go ahead when you're ready. We're snapping the belly, forceful exhales. We're moving the navel center. So the inhales take care of themselves. 3, 2, 1. Hold your inhale. And on your exhale, all the way down to your belly. Pull back into cobra, lift your chest, inhale. Exhale, lower down. 2 more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Last time, plug into your strong legs. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Take your arms out to the side. Bend your left arm. We'll do a little kick up. So the left knee, the left heel kicks up, and we roll to the right. I'm sorry, that's the left. My right shoulder is behind me, so I get a nice little chest stretch. And my foot may or may not come to the floor. Switch sides. The left arm extends, the right arm bends. Bend your right knee, kick it up and back, pull, twist. My head's relaxed. So you can try and keep your head from overworking. Okay, come back onto your belly. And then when you're ready, you're going to press up to plank and then to downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up and get a little hamstring stretch. So try your best not to lift your hip up. Keep the back of the front of your hip facing forward. And then come forward to a one-leg plank. Now your foot's going to be barely off the floor, but I want to feel that elongation of the frontal hip. Now we're going to exhale, pull it in. Inhale, lengthen it out. Just 3 more times. Exhale. Inhale. So this is our core work. 3. And 4. And then from here, step that left leg forward between your hands and drop to your right knee. Now you're going to kickstand the right heel back. So I have knee, ankle, and foot. So I'm in a warrior two. Basically, so I've got heel, knee, and I'm in a warrior two. So this is where, again, we're going to be adaptable. We've done a little bit of this before. So we're going to take a side angle, arm up and back. You can go really deep by bringing your hand towards your inner thigh, and you can let the knee come forward, or you can stay propped up. And now come to a reverse warrior. So hand at your hip and lift your left arm up. You can even grab onto the head and reach back. So it's going to be a little side stretch, but I'm supporting myself with my hand. And now come all the way out and straighten that left leg. So what's really important here is turn your hips. So don't keep your hips square. Do let the left hip kind of roll back and the right hip roll forward. And then find your side bend again. And I can hold the back of my head if I need support from my neck. And now from here, right arm up. Go ahead and come back up. And then find the earth with your right hand. So I'm going to readjust where my right knee is in space. I'm going to move it back towards my foot. And I'm going to balance on my right knee and my right hand. My left leg comes up. I'm going to reach back and grab a bind. So I'm going to lift my heart, shoulders are on my back, kick foot into hand. Feel a stretch through your chest, a stretch through your frontal hip. And then I'm going to slowly let that go, and I'm going to turn towards this back edge of my mat, or the original back edge. And I'm going to step the right leg forward. So this was the second side. So if you want your blocks, which I do, this is that same thing we just did. So option one is I get high and I drop my head and I kind of round my upper back, and then I get low. And then I get high and then I get low. So it's an exhale and an inhale. Otherwise, if I want to do this and I want more energy, I'm going to go for it. Okay, so you're deciding. I'm showing you again the less intense option. So you have another demo for about 5 seconds. We just want to build some heat, feel your core. And last one. So knee goes down, we rise up on Jayasana. We take the arms back, open through the chest. Arms reach up. And then we straighten the right leg. If we take the blocks back, we can do that. So one thing for tender knees is make sure you don't overextend the knee. So keep a little softness. It can still be fully straightened, but not locked. So try to feel that difference there. It can be very subtle. Okay, rebend the right knee. Plank pose. So in plank pose, find that breath of fire. And if you need your knees down, please do. So snap your belly, forceful exhales. Here we go. Hold your inhale. Chaturanga on your exhale to your belly. Cobra to hold. Pull your hands back, lift your chest. Draw the shoulders down your back, feel your belly draw back. Reach through your toes, and then all the way down. So you have a choice. I can go slow again and just take one side to stretch my chest. Or if I want to do a revolving, I can make a forehead pillow and I can just go back and forth. So if you're holding, go to one side, and I'll tell you when to switch. And if you're doing a rotational one that just is fluid, go ahead. Go ahead and switch. Those of you that were holding one side, so I would just go to the other side. Otherwise, maybe I'm moving. Maybe that feels good today to kind of get all the wiggles out, especially if you've been still a lot. Okay, come back down and forward, pressing up, downward facing dog. Take a moment to settle. Lift your right leg up and try to keep the hip from opening. So keep your front hip point facing down so you get hamstring strengthening. And then come forward to one leg plank. So my right foot's not high, it's low. So I'm going to focus on the low belly. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale. Just 3 more. Exhale. Inhale. Use your breath. Exhale. Inhale. 1 more. Exhale. And then step it forward when you're ready. Right leg forward. Left knee down. Kickstand. Come up. Warrior 2. And you can always pad your knee. Side angle. So this is side angle light. Hand on thigh. And then here's side angle deep. Hand inside. And I can let my hips move forward. And again, this was the one we did last week where it was like deep groin work. So it's up to you, whichever one feels good. And then we'll do a reverse warrior. Reaching up and back. Remember, you could grab your head to allow that head to release. It gives you a deeper side shoulder opening. Straighten it out. Straighten your right leg out. Let the left hip come forward, the right hip come under. And it's Parigasana gate pose. So I can use a block under my hand too. And this, again, is a place to look for locking your knee, right? And the way we can avoid also locking is keep reaching that inner thigh energy through our ankle like we always do. So that's psoas line. Okay, left hand all the way down. I'm going to move my left knee so I get a better kind of balance pose. I could stay here. I could just hover the right leg, or I'll take the bind. And if you can't grab your foot, it's okay. You could just reach your foot back and your arm back. They don't have to necessarily touch. Open through your chest, shoulders back. Lots of good breath work through your heart and front shoulder. And then let it go. Arms go down. Coming into plank pose, and then come to downward facing dog. And then from here, just kind of settle in. That was just our little warm-up flow, just to kind of get all the muscles warm, to build some heat. So now we're going to move through some balance shapes. So walk your hands to your feet at the back of your mat and stay in a forward fold here for a moment. So bend the knees to the pelvis. So as we're moving through these balance shapes, I'm going to challenge you by moving from the front to the back to the side of the mat. So we're being very adaptable with where the front of the mat is, right? So in some ways it would be disorienting. So I want you to not worry about being straight, no straight edges. Take your time with the transitions. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to get where we're going. Just let yourself support yourself as you move and transition. So you might take longer, you may take extra pauses, okay? Bend your knees, roll up nice and slow. Head, neck, and shoulders. Okay, so we're gonna have the left leg being our forward leg, and I'm gonna turn it out 45 degrees. And my right leg is gonna come forward, heel down, toe up. Either bound arms or hands at waist, shoulders back, and I hinge back. So I'm going to show you this facing the camera. Okay, so this knee is bent. The foot is the knee is in the middle of the foot. This leg is straight with toes curled back. Okay, and I have a bind, or I have my hands on my waist. So the more I sit further back and hip hinge, my spine is long. Similar to the shape we did in our warm-up flow. Okay. Couple more deep breaths. Bring that fist back, open through your shoulders. Now listen, here's the transition. I flatten my front foot and I lift my back heel. So now I'm going to prep for warrior 3. So before I just launch into it, I want to lift my chest, I want to find my core, and I can ever so slightly lift that foot. And maybe I keep it down. Okay, so it's either warrior 3 bent leg or straight leg with bound arms. You have 5 breaths. Work your psoas lines. Remember, we ground with the bottom psoas, and we lengthen with the top psoas. And we get levity by using the core muscles to help lift us off our pelvis. One more breath. And then both feet touch. Somewhere in your mat, you may not be at the top. Inhale, the arms come up. Yeah, exhale, bring your hands underneath. Grab onto your thigh. Okay, so from here, shoulders can come back. You can either keep the knee lifted or you'll straighten the leg for a hamstring stretch. Okay, so I'm supporting my leg. If you want to make this more intense, I obviously can grab big toe, or have a strap, but I want you to kind of support so you can kind of use that leverage to lift your chest. Okay, one more breath. Then you're going to rebend the left knee. It's going to go ankle over thigh. Now, if you need a break for your right ankle, take one. Ankle over thigh, sit back. Right hand small of the back. Left hand to the foot, and now twist. Take your time. Sit back, feel that stretch across the hips. You have a couple more breaths. Again, if you need a break, you just take one. So listen to the transition. You're going to transition to a short stance, warrior two with your right leg. So I'm going to slowly revolve it back, and now I'm in a short stance. So I have heel to arch. Bring my hands to my heart, turn towards the left, and then I'm going to bend into my right knee and come into a half moon. Similar to what we did before. Now you can just stay here. Some of you might want to bend the knee. You might want to bind like we did, but you don't have to. You can just stay here, lifting that side leg just like we did in the warm-up. For 3, for 2, and then listen, here's the funky transition. Bend your right knee, bend your left, move your torso, eagle, right over left. Now it's a different balance pose, and I'm not facing the back, I'm at some weird angle. My right toes will be kickstands, left arm over right. So I'm going to broaden my upper back. I'm going to let my shoulders descend, drop into my lower half. So I want to hip hinge and feel the legs, okay? So you might be facing a very strange way. That's okay. This practice is supposed to be kind of weird and allowing you to kind of feel into all those weird transitions. Okay, one more breath. Okay, unravel and just step to the side. So you're in a wide leg position, okay? Wide leg position. I'm going to step to the right and move into tree pose. So I can step in and then come to a low tree. I could bring my foot up and come to a little bit higher tree. I can even hold my ankle, and I'll show you this facing the other way. I can hold my ankle and lift my arm. So it's a little bit of a different shape. Breathe. You're going to feel your ankles start to get a little warm, but we get a break coming up. Okay, step it back out. Arms stretch up. Look up and then exhale, forward fold to your wide leg fold. Okay, so you're going to get a pause here so you can take some time. So widen your feet as much as you need. Toes face forward. Kind of weight shift forward and back a bit so you find the right distribution of weight that helps you feel relaxation through your spine. Okay, so just settle for the first breath before we add on anything. Just so you can see better, I'm going to do a side profile even though you're still facing the right way. Okay, so grab onto that left leg for a side stretch for a moment or two. Let your head go. And then go over to the right, side stretch on the left side. Come back to the center, halfway lift. And then listen to the transition. I'm going to turn the left toes out, bend the left knee, and pop that right foot out. So it's kind of like a skandasana, but it's a little bit higher up. So the left thigh is moving towards the center of my left foot, and I get this right groin opening. Okay, here's the final balance shape. So you're going to move slowly. Remember, the transitions don't have to be quick. They're skillful. So take your time as I bend into the right knee. I turn my body. I'm in a kind of a high-low lunge. And then I'm going to drag that toe forward, and it's dancer. Or maybe you take 3 extra steps to get up to dancer. Kick foot into hand, lift chest. Now there's also iterations where you have both hands back, so you can do any version of dancer that you want. It can even just be thigh stretch. Okay, take another deep breath in and out. You got this. And then as you let go of that leg, come into a low lunge. And then your low lunge is going to become plank pose. Take your time. You go through plank, chaturanga, upward dog. You can put your knees down and do cat-cow. You can do child's pose. But take your vinyasa of whatever choice you want. And then you're going to meet in down dog or child's pose if you're holding that. Let your head go. So kind of just let yourself integrate all those weird transitions into balance shapes, right? Balance shapes are hard enough. And then we're adding on the complexity of weird transitioning, longer holds. So it might shake some stuff up. So breathe, feel, attune, do all the things that you know how to do when the odd stuff shows up. And then walk your hands to your feet back on the mat. We'll bend the knees a little bit, just the belly's on the thighs, so some of you might need more knee bend. Walk over to the left, get a little side stretch. Keep your right hip moving back. Walk over to the right, side stretch. Walk to the center, and then roll up nice and slow. Head, neck, and shoulders. Release, palms face forward, and you're at the starting point for our second round. All right, so you guys got this now. I know you can do it. Okay, so turn your right toes out. Left heel comes forward. Bind your hands. So remember that can be fingers forward, thumbs back, or bound. Hip hinge. Bend your right knee, straighten your left. I can go as low as I want. Feel the chest open, feel the hamstring open. You get a nice little low back stretch. Okay, here's that transition. I flatten the left foot. I pop the back heel up. So now I'm in a very short warrior three, so I can get all the right things set up. My base, my core, and then I can slowly lift the foot up, and it's warrior three, maybe with a bent knee, maybe without. Remember, it's not important how you get there, just that you're transitioning in a way that works for you, maintaining all those things you know how to do. Breathe. Okay, one more breath. And if you need to, put your feet down. Take a breather, arms reach up. And on the exhale, take your right hands and clasp them underneath your right hamstring. So there's a little bit of weight there as your leg relaxes. So tonify your left leg and then kick your right toes forward. But let your thigh kind of rest into your hands so the psoas isn't overworking. So maybe kind of feel that you can elongate that right leg a little further. One more breath. Rebend, ankle over thigh. Now, if you need a breather, put your foot down. If you're like, oh, my leg's cramping, put your foot down. Ankle over thigh, hip hinge. Left hand small to the back, right hand grabs the ankle or maybe the foot, and we twist to the left. Feel all the heat building in your ankles and all the places that you feel it. One more breath. Short warrior two, left leg is your forward leg. So I just swing it back, then I set it up. So I'm gonna have hands at my heart, and I'm gonna turn slightly to the right, because I want my side body long. And as I'm ready, I'll lean in, and it could just be toes facing down, and I don't ever take flight, and maybe I go for it. And again, if you want to grab a bind, you certainly can. We're not here too long. Keep breathing. And then here's the transition. Bend the left knee, then the right knee. I'm going to move forward just so you can see. And then I transition, eagle. Right leg is your base, left leg crosses. Yes, and then right arm on top of left. So I'm using left toes as a kickstand. Okay, broaden your upper back. Feel yourself settle. Feel the hips sit back. Okay, open it all up and step out wide. Take a moment, and then we're stepping to the left to find tree. So I'll bend this knee and come in. It can be low tree. I can hold on to my foot and do tree. Again, just supporting. Breathe in, breathe out. And then you're gonna step all the way back out, nice and long. Arms stretch up. And then exhale, forward fold. So the first few breaths, you just get to hang out and let yourself settle from all those balance shapes. Hands can be at ankles, or they can grab opposite elbow crease. Let's plant the left arm, and you can tense your palm if you need more space or use a block. Either right hand to the small of the back or right arm up, you decide. So first just twist with straight legs and see how that feels. Kind of wondering if your pelvis is swinging to the right. And then bend the left knee and notice what it feels like to twist. Maybe that's easier, maybe it's harder. Maybe it feels better. And then release the right arm down. Right arm down, left hand to the small of the back. And then twist to the left and notice without bending either leg what that feels like. And then maybe you bend into that right knee and notice kind of what happens. Maybe there's a little bit more easefulness, maybe a deeper twist. Okay, both hands down. So I'm going to turn the right toes out slightly and bend the right knee and pop the left toes up. This is requiring me to rotate my thigh bone. I'll get a little groin stretch. I'm going to take ultimate care as I transition. There's no rush to get there. So I'll move to the left, start to turn my way forward, back heel lifts. I'll take a moment to gather myself, left arm forward, maybe right arm is reaching back to grab on, and dancer. Again, could be thigh stretch, could be both hands back, so you can always up level and add on bells and whistles, but you can also keep it real simple. Keep your breath steady. It's okay if you're wobbly. Last breath. And then allow yourself to reach down to a lunge. Then to plank, and this is where you'll choose if you want a vinyasa or if you want to just put the knees down and be done. Take a child's pose, or if you want cat-cow, take your time. Yeah, so nice work, you guys. Whew, you made it. Made it to down dog or child's pose. So again, some breaths to integrate. Nice, nice work. Okay, everyone to down dog for a moment. And then once again, walk your feet to your hands to your feet, excuse me, so you're back at the back of the mat. And then bend the left knee, left arm stays down, right hand to the small of the back or straight up. You're gonna get that same twist. You can keep it at the small of the back if that's better. Release down, then right knee straight and left, come all the way back up. Okay, arms down, then those knees roll. Arms stretch up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Okay, we're gonna try it one more time. So if you're like, oh no, you got this, right? Employ your steadiness, your perseverance, your dedication. And again, it's not about getting it flawless. It's about staying committed to transitioning in the ways that you need to care for yourself. So I might need to take more time, more breaks, not hold as long. Like those are all fair game, okay? Left toes turn out, right leg comes forward, bind your arms, and sink. Nice deep breath. Opening up through your chest. And then as you're ready, go ahead and flatten that right foot. Lift your back heel. Take your time coming into warrior three. Slowly releasing from warrior three down to standing up tall. Arms release, the arms come up. And then you're going to clasp under your left hamstring. Remember, you have all kinds of options. So you could always increase or do something different. Kick that left leg long, lift your chest, stand really proud. Bend the left knee again, ankle over thigh. And again, if you need a break, you just take a break and then hinge in to figure 4. So I could twist a little lower, so I could bring my hand to the floor and take a deeper twist. There's lots of options, or I could just stay right where it was. But you can certainly make a deeper twist if you want. Short warrior 2 with your right leg forwards, the transition. So again, we're trying to be skillful at this, so it's not too fast. Turn the waist, take a deep breath, and then launch in, warrior 2. Nice deep breaths, stay steady. The transition is to eagle on the left side. So I bend the right knee, I bend the left, turn, right leg over left, left arm over right. And I'm breathing into the upper back. I'm feeling the thighs squeeze together, the chest. And then I'm going to unbind myself, and I'm going to step to a wide leg position. Arms will stretch up, and then hinge at the hips and fold forward. So you can have arms forward or bound, anything you want to do with the arms. We're just going to stay in a neutral stance, so not side bending. If you wanted to do something else, you certainly could. And then go ahead and bring the hands underneath you. Take your hands to your waist, come all the way back up. We're going to step to the right for tree pose. So come on into tree, and I had my hand holding, and maybe the hands at the heart this time. Maybe you're not holding, and the arms come up. So we're going to step out in kind of that skandasana shape. So I changed it up on you. So we're going to step out, bend the right knee. Take your time. So I'm pushing the hips back, and my knee and my toe are in the same trajectory. Then I'm going to start to move my way into dancer. So right arm forward, left leg back. Take your time. And then maybe there's kind of a bent knee as I transition. Maybe there's even a standing splits before I go into a low lunge. Then from that low lunge, I can go through a vinyasa or plank or downward dog or child's pose. So whatever you need. Then I'm going to walk my hands to my feet at the back of the mat whenever I'm ready. Bending the knees, rolling up nice and slow. Head, neck, and shoulders. And I'm going to take a moment to stand tall, catch my breath, or rebalance, reset. Right toes turn out, left foot steps forward. Last side, bind your arms, sit back. Okay, you guys got this one. Stay in it. Stay committed, stay surrendering to the outcome. It doesn't matter if it's perfect, we just try. We just try to show up for it. Then the foot comes down, the right heel comes up, and I can stay here or I can launch. And I might be coming up and down because sometimes we launch and then we come back down, then we launch and we come back down. Feel nice and buoyant as you lift through your core, and then both legs come together. Arms stretch up. And then gather your hands underneath your right hamstring. Standing tall and relaxing through that right thigh so that I can feel that inner reach to my inner right leg line. Rebend the right knee, ankle over thigh, or break if you need it. And then I push the hips back. And this is where I was saying if you wanted to go a little deeper in the twist, you certainly could. right? Or I could just stay up where I was if that was a good one for me. Keep moving your left hip crease back. And then I'm gonna come back into that short warrior two. So heel to arch, hands at the waist, turn. And I can, again, start to get the elongation of the waist, and I could go slow. So I don't have to go all the way up fast. I can play with my transition so that it works for me. And I might come in and out. Try it out for size. It's eagle on the right. So I bend the left knee, I bend the right. I may not be facing exactly the back of my mat, it doesn't matter. Left over right, right over left. And then I'm going to unravel the arms and the legs, step out to a wide leg. Arms stretch up, and then I fold. Anything you want to do, so if you want to side stretch, you can side stretch or twist or just hang here or go upside down. This is kind of your break. It's time to breathe and let the head go and to feel your body being upside down. Coming up to your fingertips, lengthening your spine, hands to the waist. Come all the way up. It's going to be tree pose on the left. So you move into tree pose however you want. So it could be low, high, holding foot, not holding foot. Yeah, great job, you guys. Awesome poses. So you're going to step the right leg out, and it's going to turn at an angle as you straighten your left leg. And you can have your arms out or on the floor. It really doesn't matter. So my hips are moving back, so I can open through the groin area. And here's your last slow transition. Start to bend into the left knee, move your body. And then as I'm ready, I'm going to reach forward and reach back, and it's dancer. It could be a thigh stretch, or it could be a pretty big pose. You're deciding. And then I'm going to bend the knee. Maybe it's a standing splits before I go into my lunge for my last vinyasa, or a down dog, or cat-cow, whatever I want to do. And then we'll meet in child's pose when you have a moment to recenter from all that. Nice work, you guys. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, good work. Okay. When you're ready, slowly come over to a seat. And then onto your back, have one block or a bolster handy for yourself. So we're going to find the earth again after all that. So go ahead and lift your hips up so that you're on either the lowest setting of a block on your sacrum or medium. I wouldn't say high for this one, but just enough to lift it, or fold it up. Towel would work, or a bolster would work. Okay. So again, stretching the front of the hip, allowing ourselves to restabilize. So option one, or actually, let's just go slow, and then we'll add on slowly. So go ahead and extend the left leg out. And again, I'm going to go slow so I can keep my pelvis neutral. So if my pelvis starts to go down too much, I've lifted my hips too much. So I might need to come off the block. So I'm going to allow that to be a deep stretch for my inner groins. So I'll place my hands here on my waist, just to allow myself to feel the pelvis neutral and the abdominal muscles softening back. So this could be what I do, and I might just stay here. Similar to what we did earlier, I could bring my right hand and interlace behind my right hamstring. And this could be it. And this just gives a little bit of tractioning and grounding to the pelvis. If you want a little more, I could straighten the right leg. And my leg doesn't really want to go straight, so I might just have it somewhere in there. And over time, it might get straighter, but I want to make sure I'm not tensing that left psoas line. So it might be better just to bend the right knee. So you can play with that for a moment. Now really drink in your breath. Using the breath to kind of clear out anything that's tense in the hips, the jaw, the neck, any region of the body really. And using that inhale to soften into any of the kind of tissues that feel like they need to tense. Take another couple breaths. And then rebend that right knee if you've had it straight. And then drag that left heel in so you're not using the muscle that you just stretched. And then place the right leg down for a moment. Just supported bridge. And so just kind of noticing the change in your body. Kick that right heel out without your pelvis changing shape. So be really careful that your pelvis doesn't go with your leg, that you stay neutral. My hands being here can kind of help soften the tissues. And this might be sufficient. Just having my hands here might be really nice. Or if it feels like I can keep that good centered support, I'll bring my left knee up and I'll grab onto it with my hands so that again it's supported. And maybe a couple breaths before I even try to straighten it, continue to soften. And then if it feels like I want to straighten it, again, mine doesn't want to go straight, so I'm just going to let it kind of stop where it wants to stop. And maybe as I keep breathing and dropping in, the leg gets straighter, and maybe it doesn't. So keep noticing areas that tense, and then again with your exhale, see if you can release that tension with your inhale, feed in the breath, which helps you elongate and stretch the muscles without that activity, right? Without the over-efforting. And if your leg is straight, go ahead and bend it. Go ahead and let that leg come down slowly. Pull your right heel in, and now you're just in a supported bridge, so you can just stay here for a moment with hands on your hips. So option here to lift the hips up and maybe go a little taller if you'd like. So if you're going a little taller, make sure you secure the block with your hands. You can either stay here and maybe kind of roll under the shoulders or goal post the arms, or you can lift the legs back up. If you prefer a headstand or something else besides this shape, feel free to do that pose instead. So I'm going to give you some time in an inversion. The inversion can be here. The inversion can be just supported bridge. So the goal here is just to really let the nervous system drop. Because after being in all those shapes in which we're balancing and unstable, now we're trying to kind of counteract any of the the ripples that might have occurred. So feel free to move or be still, and you're just listening into what your body might want. Really breathing nice and deep, slowing it down. So if your legs are up, maybe your last couple breaths are here with the legs up. And you'll slowly take them down. So just really let that transition be slow, and then take a moment to transition. So maybe it's back to supported bridge. You just kind of feel that out. Before you're going to lift the block and then roll your spine down. And now that same block that you have, we're going to use it for a neck release. So it's going to be like this. So it's going to be a medium setting. So it's as wide as it can be. And as tall as it can be when it's wide, right? So it's not the very tallest it ever could be, but just the tallest wide. And you're gonna let the hairlines, this is right below the occiput, so kind of at the base of the hairline, is gonna come to the edge of the block. I'm gonna draw my chin to my chest. So this should be a tender kind of part, so you can adjust it up or down if you're not getting anything. Turn your head 45 degrees to the right. And with your chin, make a circle, like a small circle. See, for me, I have plenty of spots here that I could roll on because this whole area for me is very tight. So if you don't find that, go a little further to the right, or maybe you shorten that space, but find a good tender spot and do those circles nice and slow as you breathe. And maybe it's just back and forth if the circles don't work, or up and down. And then just kind of slow it down and find a good spot to take about 5 breaths in. And just letting this kind of unravel any tension from the head, through the throat, to the heart. So kind of just using your imagery to imagine any kind of blockades or any kind of resistance to having a clear, open channel from your brain to your heart. And then you'll slowly come to neutral for a moment. Kind of reset your body, and then 45 degrees to the left. And again, I say 45, but again, you're gonna have to kind of feel your own body for those spaces, and then make those circles with your chin. And if you're not feeling anything, adjust, or maybe it's just up or down or side to side. So if the circles make you dizzy or don't feel good, then whatever would feel good. Make sure you're breathing and really send that breath to this area. So the neck and the psoas are very, very closely related. So tightness in the neck will generally correlate to tightness in the psoas and vice versa. And so this can be a really indirect and pleasant way to get into the psoas, is just by softening your neck. So neck releases, massaging your neck, putting like a hot pack on your neck and shoulders, right? Because all these things are signs that tell your body it's okay. I'm not in fight or flight mode. I'm safe, I'm stable, right? And that's what the psoas wants to know, so that it can allow you to move forward from your potential. Like, we don't really access our creativity and our higher mind functions when we're feeling stressed and depleted, right? Like, we just kind of, it just kind of knocks us down to like base functioning. That's why like our diet and our sleep and all that is so essential to being able to operate at our capacities. And then maybe you find just some stillness. And then back to the center. And then maybe you'll remove the block and lie back on your back, so you can have this block anywhere else, or you can even keep it on your head if you prefer. And now just surrender. So we practice that second wing of the surrendering to whatever is unfinished in your practice, whatever feels like it's still undone, or maybe there's still an ache somewhere, and you can just kind of breathe and surrender to it. Just kind of really letting your muscles soften. Imagine any guarding kind of softening, jaw softening. So imagine breathing in the entire right side of your body, as if you were just drawing the prana into the right side, and send it out the left. And draw it in through the left side, send it out through the right. Draw it in through the right side, send it out through the left side. In through the left, out through the right. In through the right, out through the left. In through the left, out through the right. From the soles of your feet, breathe to the top of your head. From the top of your head, breathe to the soles of your feet. From the soles of your feet, breathe to the top of your head. From the top of your head to the soles of your feet. From the soles of your feet to the top of your head. From the top of your head to the soles of your feet. From the center of your heart to the periphery of your body, breathe in. From the periphery of your body to the center of your heart, breathe out. Just continue doing that. As if your whole body is breathing you. And then just releasing that and just feeling the whole body able to be receptive, feeling more free, more in touch with those deeper aspects of yourself. And then maybe taking a note of one area in your life that is maybe calling for steadiness, calling for that focus, that determination, the effort, right, to show up. Maybe it's a choice you need to make or a commitment to breathe every single day for 5 minutes or move every single day or to get more rest, right? One thing that would really allow you to feel more stable, more connected to you, more stress-free. And then maybe there's a commitment to an area in which you have to practice the surrendering because there's just simply nothing else to be done except breathing through it and allowing. And then maybe wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe you'll roll to the side. Certainly you may stay on your back. And then slowly coming up to a seat. We'll find our Garuda mantra, mudra, with the right hand behind the left. Hooking your thumbs and resting the eagle's wings on your heart. Those two wings of the practice, the steadiness, the devotion, the enthusiasm, the commitment. And then the other wing, the surrender, the ease, the feeling, the undoing. And may both of these wings give us the adaptability to perceive with the utmost truth and clarity as to when that we rely on either and how we balance the two to fly. Fly over, not fly over our difficulties, but we emerge right out of them with greater awareness, with greater truth, with greater clarity, with healing and rejuvenation. So take a deep breath into your intention today to practice, to show up, to release, to surrender, but most of all, just to be together, right? We need each other in these times, and I am so grateful for each one of you and your presence and your love and your support and the container that we build together that holds space for each of us to be in whatever phase that we're in. Meeting whatever it is that we meet moment to moment. And that we strengthen each other just by our presence. So may the light in me honor the light in you. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. May all beings be happy and free. May our words, thoughts, and actions contribute to the happiness and freedom of ourselves and all other beings. May it be so. Namaste. Thank you, sweet friends. I will so be thinking about you.